Hello, Buddy Crow, back again with another pickups video, and you may notice something different about me. I have a new haircut. Actually, you know what? This isn't gonna work at all. I just got this mask yesterday, and I was thinking, hey, wouldn't it be funny if I did the whole video with this mask on? And I just can't do it. It's too hot. It's too uncomfortable. Let me put this aside. All right, so it's been quite a while since the last pickup video. The last pickup video I did was the pickups I got from the Video Game Summit, which was only the pickups from the Video Game Summit. I had actually had some other things that I've gotten that I didn't put in that video because I was kind of saving them for a regular pickup video. The thing is, though, I don't really pick up as many games as I usually do. I'm not looking for older games, and newer games I'm not really picking up because I'm tired of all the updating and stuff. I kind of putting my foot down on that stuff. I don't want to buy a game and then have to turn around and find out it's downloading the whole game again from the internet because what's on the disc isn't what it can't run from the disc because that's not the actual game code. It's some other code. So I'm tired of that. I've been picking up games on Steam instead, but you know, since those are digital, I really don't count those as pickups. But there were really a whole handful of games I did pick up for the PS4 and actually one game for the PS Vita over the entire summer. So that's what this video is going to focus on. Really, all the pickups from that I've gotten. You know, it's PS4. All the pickups are PS4 pretty much. And you know, what's funny is that with Amazon, I'm a member of Amazon Prime. They started doing a deal where if you pre-ordered games from Amazon Prime, you got 20% off. So most of the games, actually there's only 3 games that I bought from Amazon Prime. The other 7 or 8 were all from limited run games, and I'll get into that after we go over the ones I bought from Amazon. So everything I bought was pre-order, really because I got a really good discount on it, 20%. And I actually have another one pre-ordered. Actually, what's funny is I saw Sonic Mania and I was like, oh wow, Sonic Mania looks pretty cool. And I saw the collector's edition for it, so I pre-ordered the collector's edition for Sonic Mania. And then like a few days later, I found out that it actually doesn't include a physical copy of the game. So I was like, okay, canceled my PS4 order of the collector's edition of Sonic Mania. And I wound up buying it for Steam instead because digital download, digital codes, I'd rather do that on my PC rather than do it on consoles from now on. That's just the way I'm doing it. But anyway, let's jump into the first pickup of the video. All right, the first game I have here is Mighty Number 9 for the PS4. And just really quickly, here's the cover, the back. Came with the disc, and what's this, poster? I haven't really opened this up in a while. So yeah, it did come with a poster. Here it is, the Mighty Number 9 poster. I'm sure if you've seen pickups of this before, you've seen the poster, unless they didn't show the poster. There's a little book in here, The Art of Mighty Number 9. And, oh yeah, there's a code on here, which I've already used. So, Mighty Number 9. A lot of bad things here, but a lot of people just flat out saying the game sucks or whatever. I know this was a Kickstarted game, but I never funded the Kickstarter. After the Kickstarter was over, I was like, oh yeah, that looks pretty interesting, and I wound up reserving it on Amazon, or pre-ordering it on Amazon. This was before they even announced the 20% off deal for pre-ordering. So I wound up getting 20% off anyway, which is why I stuck with the pre-order. I got the game, and you know what? I have no problem with the game at all. But I can totally understand if people have issues with this game, if they were following Kickstarter, because yes, based on what I've heard, they were promised certain things that never came to fruition in the game. They changed the look of the game from what people were expecting. So yeah, I could totally understand that. But if you came at this game not really knowing anything about it, kind of like I have, I wasn't really following it. I just got it in the mail and I popped it in. I actually think it's not too bad. I do like it. It does feel a little bit like Mega Man. It feels like more like the Mega Man X series, later, you know, the later Mega Man X series, because you shoot the guys, and then you can plow. You have to disable them and kind of charge into them to defeat them. And I like that mechanic. Now again, I haven't played a whole lot of the game. I barely touched it just to capture a little bit of footage, and this was a long time ago, so I'm just kind of going off. This is months and months ago when the game was actually released. I played it, and I haven't really played it since then, just because I've been there's like so many other games that I wanted to play, but I wanted to get this because I like Mega Man and I kind of want to support him, but you know, again, had I known then what I know now, I may not have bought it, mainly because the game's on clearance right now. But again, this does include a cross-buy. I don't know if you saw that on the box. Cross-buy with PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 3 systems. What is really messed up is that, okay, there was a download code in here. I used it, and I was like, okay, let me download it on the Vita. And I look at it, and it's not available on the Vita because they never released it for the Vita yet, which is ridiculous. I mean, this game is going on clearance in places, and the code that you get with it for the Vita doesn't even really work. I mean, I think there's supposed to be a standalone Vita version 2, but I don't think that's been released yet either. It's kind of put them in an awkward situation, I think. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I don't even know if the Vita version's even coming out anymore. But, you know, they promised it, so it should. So it was kind of weird because I popped up my Vita and I'm like, hey, where's the game? How do I download it? Because I put in the code and it's like, oh, here's the game again, but for the Vita. So let me download it, and it's like, it's not even, I don't know if you heard the Time Machine or not. I'm using a different microphone, so you might not have even heard him that time. But again, the box set includes Ray expansion and Retro Hero DLC, so it includes some DLC. I don't know if they're planning additional DLC, but again, I ordered this game before I jumped on the Steam bandwagon and said, okay, I'm not really buying many more PS4 games anymore, even though I bought a stack of 10 of them over here this summer. But you'll see why. If it wasn't for limited run games, this would only be a free video game pickup video for the whole summer, and you'll see why after I get past the next two. But yeah, Mighty Number 9, I don't think it's bad, not great, but again, totally understand it, where this hate for the game is coming from as well. So yeah, Mighty Number 9. Alright, next game I have here is Odin Sphere Leftstrazer Storybook Edition. I don't really know if that's actually the way to pronounce it, but I'll get into why I picked this up after I show off what is in the Storybook Edition. So, you know, got this big box here, and of course when there's a collector's edition like this, I just gotta get it. For one main reason you'll see in a second, but of course, you know, this slides out. Oh, look, it's got a little map on the back here, which is where you select your levels in the game. Open this up. Inside we get... Now, this is what I was a little bit disappointed in. This is it's a nice steel case. It's not a steel book. But to me, this feels very flimsy, which is why I don't put it on the shelf. I'm just going to leave it in the box. Because it does feel very, very flimsy, like it would be dented very easily, especially with how flimsy these new cases are. If this was like an older case, like back in the original Xbox days, PlayStation 2, where the boxes were a lot sturdier, I mean, I would feel better about having keep this not dented, but this just feels very wobbly. But it is very, very nice, and that's one of the main reasons I got the Storybook Edition. And then we have the game here. I don't think there's a manual, of course. You know, I'm very happy when games come with manuals, you know, even if I don't read them, but it just feels incomplete, is what I'm saying, you know, to me. And then, you know, here's something I could do without, and this will probably just stay in here. This is a t-shirt. I'm not going to unravel this or open it up or anything. I think there's a picture of it on the back. Yeah, so look a little bit closer there. You can kind of see what that t-shirt looks like. It's not my size, and you couldn't choose a size. It just only comes in an adult large, and it's really 2 sizes too small for me because I'm getting fat and old. And then we got here, it's a little poster, I think this is. It's an art print. So I'm probably never going to take this out or hang it up or anything. And then a really nice art book. It's hardcover. And it's very nice when you play through the game and you kind of look at all the art in the game. It's a very, very, very nice book. And it'll probably just stay in the box. So protect it from damage. So yeah, Odin Sphere, Leftsdreiser. I don't really know if that's the way you say it, but anyway, this game was a game I first saw like 4 years ago at Midwest Gaming Classic. I saw it running on one of the PS2s because this is a remaster from an older game. And I saw it and I was like, wow, this looks really amazing. I'm going to have to get myself a copy. And then, for some reason, at that point in time, the game wasn't really that cheap on eBay or whatever. So I kind of forgot about it. And I don't know how I found out about this. I think I was looking up something completely irrelevant on eBay. So maybe something video game related, but then I saw you might also like this. And I'm like, really? And I looked at it, I was like, this, I didn't know they were remastering this game. So I pre-ordered it. Again, it was like $80 or something like that for this, but again, with the 20% off, I wound up paying a little bit more than $60 on Amazon Prime, and that is with free shipping, of course. Like all the stuff with Amazon Prime is like free shipping, but I'm really glad I got this. Now, this is a rarity. I like this game so much that not only did I complete this game before doing the pickups video, but I got the Platinum Trophy for this game. And this has been weeks ago I finished this game. I played the hell out of this game. And I can still play more because I got all the trophies playing the standard mode. Now I can actually go in and do an extra mode where it's playing the game again with a few new surprises, but everything is much harder. Or you could play the classic mode. Let me get into that. The standard mode in this version is not exactly the same as the original version. The original version on the PS2. They've condensed some things. They've made in the original version there were 2 XP meters. One of them was for your health alone, and the other one was for your abilities or something like that. Currency was used a little bit differently from what I understand, and just usual tweaks and changes here. Things are a little bit sped up that didn't need to be slowed down to begin with, I think. But I played through. I really like. I could play the classic version too. They included the classic version, playing it how it was originally played way back on the PS2, and that's how you do a remaster, I think. So actually, more about this game. You play one of how many characters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 characters. Oh, there's 6 on the back cover here, and that throws me off because one character is on there twice, because he looks different. I won't really spoil that. Footage you're seeing is from really early in the game when I was capturing footage, because I just kept playing the game and playing the game and playing the game, not really thinking that I wasn't going to stop, and that's exactly what happened. I didn't stop playing this game. That's how I think that was to this. It's kind of really interesting. It's like an action RPG where it's side-scrolling, left to right, right to left. A lot of the battle arenas, you go on the map from screen to screen. There's maps where there's treasure, maybe, I want to say puzzles. Yeah, they're kind of a puzzle element in order to get to some certain areas in the map. But what's weird is like a lot of the areas and all of the battle areas, is if you keep running from left to right, you're just going to keep running in a circle. You just have to, it's something you have to get used to for a little while, but it's really interesting. These guys keep coming out, and the bosses, you'll wind up fighting the bosses multiple times throughout the game as you change characters, because you see the story unfold from a lot of different characters' perspectives. And each character is represented by a book. And then when you get to the 6th book, you have to do almost like a boss rush mode. You have to fight like 5 bosses, but you have to choose the right character for the right boss before you can continue on to the final chapter and see the ending of the game. If you don't choose the right characters, you get to see a bad ending or kind of some odd endings. But if you choose the right characters for everybody, and you get to see the full end. You don't really get to see the full ending. That was one of the hardest things I had to do. One of the trophies was that you have to actually fight those 5 battles a minimum of 3 times each with different character combinations before you proceed to the last book, before you can see the actual true ending. So that was kind of a nuisance, but it was well worth it because that closes all the gaps and loopholes in the story. I don't know what I can say. I really, really like this game, and I highly recommend it even if you don't get the storybook edition. This is a PlayStation 4 Plus must have. And here's the nice thing is I put this in, had one small update, and I played this for a couple months, and it never updated again. And which you would think would be the case, seeing as how this is a remaster of a game that already existed. There's nothing to add on to this. They got their code right, and then they released the game, and it's not going to be updated again. At least I don't think it will be. Anyway, great game. All right, the next game here is the King of the Fighters 14. Burn to Fight Premium Edition. I don't know if Burn to Fight is a slogan or if that's actually part of the title. With these, I don't know. So, of course, this is the Premium Edition. Again, there's one reason in particular I went with the Premium Edition, or even bought this game at all. I'll get into that later, but let's just open this up, show you what's inside. This box seems very flimsy, and there's nothing inside preventing it from... so this box could get damaged very easily. So let's open it up. This is the main reason I wanted this. Very, very nice steelbook. Very, very nice steelbook. I mean, this is, if you're gonna do steelbook, this is the way I do it. You're supposed to do it. I know even a lot of DVD releases and Blu-ray releases that are in steelbook have this cardboard thing that goes around the steelbook. Now that can get damaged very easily. In fact, I've had one get damaged because I accidentally set it in some water. But this has a very nice plastic overlay that overlays the steelbook itself. Now I think you can just get the steelbook without getting the Premium Edition. But I'll kind of get into why, I'm going to get the biggest and best edition, I think, from now on, especially if I'm going to order on Amazon. But I'll get into that. Again, I really, really like the steelbook. Of course, there's no manual, because why would they ever include a manual these days? Yeah, just love this. Well, the way this looks. So let's see what else we got in here. We have and of course, I think this is the only other thing in here. King of the Fighters 14 art book. So very, very nice art book came with this. Very happy with this. All right, King of the Fighters 14. Like Odin Sphere, this was another game I wasn't specifically looking for. And in fact, because I think I bought Odin Sphere, it popped up on my Amazon. Hey, maybe you want to buy this too. Other people that have bought this game have bought this game. And I'm not gonna lie, the only reason I bought this package was because of the steelbook, and because I got 20% off. So I don't really remember what the cost of this was, but ultimately I think it may be another $80 package that I got for $60 because of the 20% off I pre-ordered. And again, the steelbook. That's the only reason I bought this. I love the steelbook. Okay. Onto the game itself. When here, the back cover blatantly lies. It says 20 megabytes minimum hard drive. That is a bold-faced lie, and let me tell you why. It doesn't necessarily have to download anything. In fact, I don't think there was any updates or anything to download. I played it today, and it didn't update. The first day I got it, I put it in. It didn't update, but got to the main menu and I couldn't select. I don't know if you heard him say hello or not. But I couldn't select anything other than training and options until the game installed from the disk onto the hard drive. And that process probably took 15 to 20 minutes. So, and I think when I looked, it was taking up about, I don't remember, somewhere between 5 and 15 gigs on the hard drive. So yes, this game does require a lot more hard drive space than 20 megabytes. I don't know where they're getting this 20 megabyte minimum thing from. The other downside is when I finally got it installed on the PS4, just for a laugh, I don't normally go to the online mode, so this doesn't really matter so much to me. But, you know, sometimes I like to go online and download replays and see what other people are doing. I don't necessarily like to play online. But the online portion, the online menu option, when you try to select it, it's totally blocked out for you unless you're a PlayStation Plus member. I know that there's other games that this takes effect, but this is the first game that really has affected me to the point where it says, no, you're not paying $60 a year for PlayStation Plus. You don't have access to this. So yeah, that's a downside, but this game is only on PS4, so it's not like you can buy it on Steam or anything. And you know what? The Steelbook, I love the Steelbook. I don't know, I can't get over that. The game itself, for me, the graphics are kind of bland. They're kind of okay, they're kind of blandish. To me, I like the sprite look of the older games. I don't remember if King of Fighters 13 or 12. I think 13 was sprite animated, wasn't it? I don't really remember. I didn't have it. Never came down in price. I was going to buy it when it was super cheap, and then it might be super cheap right now, but I still never bought it to look at it. I know 12 looked really good, but the problem people had with that was there was not that many characters, not that many backgrounds. There's a lot of characters. How many characters does it have? It's got like 50 something. It's not saying on the back of the box here, but 50 playable characters. Yes, so 50 characters, a lot of characters. You know, I played. It's very intuitive. They did make this game easier to play. I'm not really an expert or anything at King of Fighters, but just on default mode, me jumping in with random characters, I was able to beat and progress in story mode. I did play through story mode once. I played through time attack once. A lot of the characters are very weird, and I like that. I like the weird characters. The guy with the dinosaur head, King of the Dinosaurs, I love it. I love stuff like that, just wacky off-the-wall stuff. Kind of reminded me of like King from Tekken, where he's just got that tiger mask on for no reason. Kind of like how I wanted to wear that wolf mask for no reason. But yeah, I like it. And honestly, though, you know, I don't really play fighting games a whole lot with people. Nobody I know is really into fighting games. I just like them myself. I'm usually playing against a computer. Nobody comes over to play fighting games, and I can't play online because of PlayStation Plus, so that's a downside. But, you know, this is a good game. Lots of, you know, I don't think the graphics are as well polished as like Street Fighter V. I think that Guilty Gear Xrd looks a lot better than this, but this has a unique look of its own ultimately. And yeah, I don't know what more I can say about this. It's a fighting game. Let's move on. Alright, before we continue with the picks, I have to mention that the next batch of games, the remaining 8 games, all came from limited run games. Let me explain what limited run games is if you haven't heard about them. If you watch channels like Metal Jesus Rocks and so on and so forth, you may have heard of limited run games. What they do is they take games that have only been released digitally in the past. No physical releases, and they will give them a physical release in very limited numbers. They'll announce, hey, you know, this game is we're gonna start selling them on this day at this time. Usually for Central Time, it's like usually they're Fridays, 9 a.m. Central and 5 p.m. Central. I say Central because that's what time zone I'm in. Those are the times I have to remember and set my alarms to, and because usually I'll have to log on right away and buy the games I want. Because if you wait, you know, longer than usually an hour, you are definitely not going to get the game, and you'll have to wait for the next time. And if the second batch comes out and you don't get it, you're probably not getting that game for a decent price, because they'll be sold out. People will be putting them on eBay for inflated prices, and these are already games that are already released. So the games I'm going to show, you're not going to be able to get a physical copy of them, is what I'm trying to say. But you can go onto Steam and PlayStation 4 digital stores and buy these games for much cheaper than the physical versions. All of these games, all of these releases are $24.99, which I think is damn good for a physical release of a limited game. And they don't release games unless they're well received and they're top-notch games, so to speak. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Let's continue on with the pickups. All right, the first of these limited run games I'm going to show off here is New and Tasty Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. Now, this isn't the first limited run game that I got because I had shown off some other ones in other pickup videos. I think I bought 2 before this. This is number 4. Now, this game was released on PS4 and PS Vita. So, and they both have different numbers, so even though I may have picked up a whole bunch of consecutive ones for the PS4, since I didn't get the Vita version, the numbers kind of skip, if you're wondering about that when I show these. But yeah, it comes with the case, of course. This is kind of gotten bent a little bit. Of course, the disc. What is this? Is this a manual? No, this is kind of like a warning pamphlet, like a lot of games like to send if they're going to send anything at all. Now, these originally weren't inside the case, they were shipped outside, but I like to throw these in when I can. You get a limited run sticker, and then a kind of like a postcard of the game here. Sometimes there's a checklist, sometimes they're not, just as limited run on the back, but I think that is nice. Alright, so New and Tasty Oddworld Abe's Odyssey is it's a remake of a game that originally showed up on the PS1. So it's a remake of a game. It's got much better graphics. I guess they didn't want to release a physical version of this. I mean, I don't know how many years the game has been available digitally, but when I saw that there was a physical copy of this, I was like, yep, I jumped on it, even though I'm not really that familiar with Oddworld. It's always been this game that I've seen and it looks interesting, but I never played. So I played, I think I played only like the first level of this. To me, it's like a, almost like an out of this world feel to it, where you're kind of sneaking around. You actually gain more, I can't remember what the names of these guys are, but you gain followers, you can tell them what to do. It's mostly side-scrolling. It's not really platform, but there are places where you have to jump through traps or whatnot. And yeah, you're seeing the footage right now, and I didn't really get far. I actually got stuck. I got stuck at the end of the first level. I didn't know how to proceed, so that's where I kind of stopped, and I really haven't played this since, but it is something I will want to go back to sometime. It's the kind of thing where you have to think ahead. And if you die, you kind of have to figure out, well, how can I get around that? And I got stuck. I tried to figure it out for like 10-15 minutes. I'm sure I could go online and say, hey, how do I get past this? How do I proceed? I could go through a walkthrough and continue, but I just stopped, honestly. So yeah, New and Tasty Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. Next limited run game, Futuridium. And you got the front and the back. See, you open it up here. Of course, you got the game disc that's upside down from the way I'm showing it. And of course, we've got a little pamphlet with warnings on it, and the sticker and the card. They usually send these. These are not normally packed inside; they're packed outside and limited run on the back. Very similar to New and Tasty. All right, Futuridium Extended Play Deluxe Limited Edition. Is that the full name? Is it just Futuridium? I think it's just Futuridium Limited Edition. I think it's limited edition because it's released physically. I think this is on Steam too. I'm pretty sure this is available on Steam as well. But first time I heard of this was when Limited Run Games announced it. So it's like, yeah, I looked up footage of it. This looks really cool, I thought to myself. And again, this is kind of like a updated version of Uridium. Uridium was a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up where you flew back and forth trying to take out these pods on this base. And you know what's funny is this Uridium was actually released on in the US on the NES, and it was rebranded as The Last Starfighter. And you want to see something really embarrassing, you can look up on my channel. A long time ago, I did a Let's Play of Last Starfighter where I didn't know what I was doing. Now I know what I'm doing in this game. They kind of taken that concept and turned it three-dimensional, where you have to fly ahead down you know, the ship or whatever the areas or whatever you want to do. I mean, there's lots of weird abstract stuff going on, and you shoot out the blocks. Once you shoot out the blocks, you shoot out the core, and then you proceed to the next level. I mean, it's there's a whole bunch of it's really the kind of thing where it's like, how far can you get? Now it is, again, it's been a while since I've played this. I got stuck playing this. I played this for like an hour or so because it was really cool. This is a really trippy, really cool game, and I enjoyed this a lot. I'm really glad I got a physical copy of this. Even the back of the box art is really trippy. It's showing screenshots, and you're like, what the hell am I looking at? But yeah, and you know, I didn't mention it, but none of these limited run games require any installation or updates, and that's to be expected, and that's why I like these. These are the way games should be released physically, not where they release them and they got to be patched right away. Or I don't like the whole DLC concept, but that's a little bit more forgivable if it's not planned in advance. Anyway, I'm kind of off tangent. Wanted to talk about Futuridium, and I did. Actually, the talking gives you more opportunity to see more gameplay. Anyway, let's see. Everyone in the Navy has heard of the rumors about that sector. That's all it says on the back of the box. That's awesome. I love this game. Next game is Zeo Drifter. See here, Renegade Kid. This is number 8. Front and back. Open it up. We got the disc. We got a manual. Oh, this is actually a full color manual. I think this is the first game that they may have done a full color manual for one of their games, and I very much appreciate this, even though I might not ever use it. Then we've got our sticker and our cardboard insert. These were not packed in the box. They were outside when I got them. This is when they started putting checklists on the back. Hey, did you get all of these? Check these off on this card. Of course, I'm not going to do that. Actually, I have all of them on the card except for Breach and Clear and the PS4 version of Saturday Morning RPG, and the PS Vita version of New and Tasty, and the Vita version of Futuridium. I'm not totally crazy. I'm not going to buy all the releases. All right, Zeo Drifter. This game had me hooked right away. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to say the one thing that disappoints me is how short this game is. Now, I played this like for 3 days, okay? When I say 3 days, I'm talking about little chunks. I played maybe an hour to 2 every day. And on the third day, I beat the game. It's very, very short, and it kind of reminds me like Metroid, like a very, very small sample-sized Metroid-sized game where you have this guy and he can run around, he can shoot, you gain a sub. You're basically gaining power-ups throughout the whole game. But the nice thing is, when you power up your gun, you could choose how you want to power it up. You could say, oh, do I want to make the gun more powerful? Do I want to make it shoot faster? Do I want to make it wavy? Do I want to make it three-way? And throughout the game, you can allocate those pieces no matter how you want, and you can create your own custom versions of that gun. And I think that's very awesome. And then you gain other abilities like shifting into the background, running over water or lava or something, or I can't quite remember. Jumping super high, that was another one. Gaining a laser or solar gun that lets you get to new areas. So basically the whole premise is this. You are flying around your ship gets damaged, and your ship can't exit the solar system, or this, at least an area. You're stuck in between these 4 planets. So you have to go from planet to planet to pick up pieces of your ship, I think. I think that's the way it went. So yeah, pieces of your ship, maybe something like that. I don't know. You wind up, I mean, there's not a whole lot of enemies in this game either. There's boss battles in the game, but it's like the same type of boss every time. You just keep getting harder and harder. And it's fine. I'm okay with that. I mean, the game was fun. That's the important thing. But really, I was so disappointed when this game ended so quickly. And this isn't a game that's meant to be long, because one of the achievements I looked up, one of the trophies for this game, is to beat the game in under an hour. And I guess you really have to know your stuff in order to beat the game under an hour, but it really didn't take me more than 4 hours. It took me less than 4 hours to beat the game without knowing what I was doing while learning the game. So again, multiple playthroughs, I think you're gonna get good at this game really quickly. But the game looks great. It looks fantastic. So I can't stay mad at this game. A Renegade Kid, that's who made this game. So I know they made other stuff. This might be available on Steam as well. I would say go buy it on Steam for a couple bucks. You know what? I'm kind of disappointed I spent $25 on a game this short. But again, physical copy, that's worth $25, I think. Again, this game is I could probably sell this game for far greater than that, because it was released in limited quantities. I mean, and I know I've said limited quantities before, and we're talking about less than 3,000. This would have made a great Vita game. I mean, would make a great Vita game. This was released on Vita as well. But it's funny. I'm going to go a little bit off track here, but when I first started buying the limited run games, I was thinking, I'll just buy them for the Vita because I could play them on the PlayStation TV. And then the next release, the Oddworld one, I actually forgot about it, and I sold out the PS Vita versions first. So I bought the PS4 version, and then from then on, I was just, I'm just gonna buy the PS4 version. I don't know if that's the way I should be doing it or not, but whatever. Zeo Drifter, fun game. And the next limited run release was Octodad, Deadliest Catch. Very interesting cover there. This game got pretty popular as a digital download, but when I heard there was going to be a physical version of it, well, that's my opportunity. That's when I'm going to buy it. So here's the back. I can get all into that later. Disc. And unfortunately, well, no, this does have a manual. Not as thick as the other one, but it's a manual describing characters, and Chef Fujimoto, and yeah, and of course we have the sticker, which I've bent apparently, and the postcard for Octodad Deadliest Catch with an updated checklist on it. Alright, so Octodad Deadliest Catch. How do I even explain this game? It's a game where you are an octopus pretending to be a human, and you're fooling mostly everybody that you're not an octopus in a suit, but rather a guy that really is walking around really awkwardly or whatever. There's only a couple people in the game that aren't fooled. Actually, maybe one for sure, and it's the chef who wants to get you and cut you up for sushi or something. I don't really know. But the challenge in this game, you're just doing mundane tasks, but the challenge of the game is getting Octodad, getting used to controls. The controls are the challenge of this game, because you can walk around, but you have to do things by controlling one of the tentacles. So you're like, oh, you have to grab that. So you're trying to move the controller. The controller up and down and forward and backwards, and hitting a button to grab things and trying to move it around without spilling it. You're trying to mow the lawn. You're trying to grill burgers, all with this weird mechanic, and that is the fun of the game. Trying to do these mundane tasks, but with these really awkward controls. If you remember QWOP, if you're ever familiar with QWOP, it's the running game where you use all these keys to run forward. It's kind of like that. I don't think it's as difficult as that. This I can wrap my head around when you start playing it. But it's kind of funny. It starts to get hard in the second level where you're in the grocery store, and there was a part where I had to get some cereal, but there was no more on the shelf, and there was a lady that took the last box of cereal. So you had to steal the cereal from her cart without her noticing, and that, getting the timing and all that, and doing all that with the awkward controls in a certain amount of time was just very challenging, really. And there's just a lot of stuff going on, and it's funny, it's like the more you screw up, the more people will notice and get suspicious that you're not a real person. So so it's kind of funny. You have to, you know, like the very first, the pre-log of the game, you have to get married, you have to walk down the aisle. You have to walk down the aisle without knocking down all the arrangements on the sides, and that itself is challenging. So yes, this is a fun game. Again, easily downloadable. It's been out for years, but physical copy.
I will turn you into moderately priced sushi.
All right, taking a break from the PS4 limited run games, we have a PS Vita limited run game. This is Soldner X2 Final Prototype, or is it Soldner Final Prototype X2? I don't know, but I didn't get this on PS4 because it wasn't released on PS4. It was only a Vita game. So we got this. We got the back here, and you know what? The game is missing because I probably have it in my PlayStation TV. Anyway, you can pretend there's a game there. It's a game card, and here is something you don't see: a full color manual, or a manual at all for a Vita game. This might be the very first Vita game with a manual. Of course, I don't know if some of the other releases that were on Vita that I didn't had one. This is the only one I have has got a manual. We've got the sticker that was released on the outside. This barely fits in there. Now, this card that they normally ship on the outside doesn't fit inside a Vita case. So I've got it here on the outside, and got an updated checklist. It's a shoot 'em up, and when I saw there was going to be a shoot 'em up, I was like, oh, gotta get it. That was a must-have. Why did I get this for the Vita? It's very simple. Not available for the PS4. This game was never released for a PS4. I think this is a Vita game, possibly a PlayStation 3 title as well. I'm not 100% sure on that. There is a Soldner, an original one, but this is the sequel. It's like a bullet hell shooter, I think, at times. It took me a while to get used to what I was doing in the game. The footage you may be seeing now, I may not have been fully acclimated to the fact that I could switch weapons and stuff. And then when I went to record it a second time, my computer was doing other things, and the footage wound up all choppy, and I had to delete it. But it's a fun shoot 'em up. It's very straightforward, I think. Nothing really stood out to me as extremely awesome. But again, I really didn't get that far in the game. I'm just like, shoot 'em up. A physical release shoot 'em up. How often does that happen in this day and age? So I had to get this game. There's really not much more I could talk about this because, you know, I really, you know, I'm just kind of blanking on it. It's almost forgettable, but it's still cool because it's a shoot 'em up. It's a horizontal shoot 'em up. I was playing it on the PS TV just fine, and it's great that I could take it to go if I needed to. The fact is, the reason I'm getting a lot of these on PS4 rather than Vita is because I don't really take my Vita out anymore. There's games on the 3DS that I'm playing instead, like Project Cross Zone, and I don't really take portables out to play them that often. I usually do my gaming at home, and if I'm at home doing gaming, I'm going to do it on a PS4 or something, or my computer, my Steam. And also when I go to other friends' houses and stuff, I can take my laptop and play games on Steam too. That's why I got the laptop. Anyway, I know, off track again, and I think I just hit the mic on my chest. I don't know if you... Oh yeah, listen to that. Tap, tap, tap. Yeah, Soldner X2.
Minions, protect the zone.
Next up, we have Rainbow Moon, one of the kind of a more recent release. I've played this a little bit. I'll get into that after we show off the case here. So there's the case. Oh, and one thing you should notice, I haven't been mentioning, but on all of these cases, no ESRB rating. How about that? And it's because these are not released in stores, so they don't have to have one. So I really like that. I don't know why. ESRB ratings always annoyed me ever since they were released. But we got in that. Not so much that there are ESRB ratings, but the fact that they have to put it on the front cover, that to me kind of ruins the art of the cover. And we've got a full color instruction. Is this full color? Yes, it is. Full color instruction booklet. There's a map. All right. And then we've got, of course, our limited run sticker. And if I could get that up, yeah. You don't have to pick this up for any reason. I just wanted to. And the card with an updated checklist. All right, so this is Rainbow Moon, and this is the game I'm kind of currently addicted to. This is it's an RPG, but it's like a strategy tactical RPG of sorts. And normally I don't like that. It kind of reminds me of like Final Fantasy Tactics, but I didn't like I didn't like the way things played out in Final Fantasy Tactics. This kind of simplifies it way down. I really like how simple this game is to play. So that's what I like about it, how simple it is, how easy it is to get into. What I will say about it is that the menus are at times confusing, and managing your inventory can be a little bit confusing. But as you play through the game, I've been getting upgrades to the number of items I can carry. It's starting to get a little bit more, I'm starting to get a little bit more used to it. It's not 100% intuitive. It is easy to get to, but things just, I think it's just one of those games where the more you play it, the more you get used to the way the game behaves. So, yeah, how does the game about? I think, if I'm remembering correctly, because I started this like a week or so ago, you just wake up in this place called Rainbow Moon. I could be wrong about that, but you're like, you have amnesia sort of, I think, and you're trying to figure a way out of Rainbow Moon. That's what I understand the plot is. So you wind up going, from to one town, and you wind up having to do tasks for people, typical RPG stuff. The battles are pretty interesting because there are no random battles per se. You can see the enemies on the map, and if you want to fight them, you can run up, touch them, and then go into the battle mode where you've got all these enemies on the grid, and then you can walk around the grid. At first, you can only do one thing at one turn. I've gotten to the point where I could do two things in one turn. I don't know if that gets upgraded any further. I assume it does. But then, a lot of the early enemies can only do one thing per turn. I'm in the first dungeon. I just got into the first dungeon, and there were enemies in there that could also do two moves on one turn. So you can like move one square and attack once, or you can move two squares, or you could attack twice. That kind of thing. You can use one item, two items. Just the number of actions you could take per turn, and I like that concept. What else can I say? Oh yeah. But also there are random encounters. I know I said that there were none, but there kind of are. But you could choose whether or not you want to engage them. You could be walking on the map, and all of a sudden you'll see a notice that says, oh, there's this enemy and this enemy and this enemy. And if you want to fight, you hit the button and you're taking it to fight. And if you don't want to fight, you just keep on walking and totally ignore it. But I like to fight because I'm one of those weirdos that likes to grind and level up. So again, you can start off the game several different ways, where you can start out with playing the game very easily, or make it a little bit more challenging with yourself. There's like two different options for that. I think I chose like the medium difficulty, but I chose to start out with like almost nothing in my inventory and stuff. And it said there was a special bonus for doing that. I don't know what it was, but I like to start from ground zero. The other options, they give you things to start out with to make it easier, but I wanted that challenge. I like starting out with nothing and seeing where I can go from there. But yeah, just a little bit. I think I've played this game. I'm 2.5 hours into this game at this point now. I got this game like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. It's the kind of game where I can play. I'll get tired of it if I'm playing it for too long. But you can stop it. You can save at any point. You can stop it and then just pick it up sometime later. I could play YouTube videos while I'm playing this game. I like that kind of game. So yeah, Rainbow Moon. And next up is Shadow Complex Remastered. which I actually got on the same day as Rainbow Mood, and they put those up for sale on the same day. So, so we got Shadow Complex. Here's the back of the box, and we'll open this up. We got the disc. We've got a well, no, actually, this one doesn't have a manual. Again, we're back to the warning pamphlet. And then we've got the limited run sticker and the card with an updated checklist again. Shadow Complex Remastered. How do I put this game? To me, this game reminds me, again, it's kind of like another game that reminds me of Out of This World. And I'm sure it would remind me of Flashback, if I've ever played Flashback. I've only seen videos of Flashback. I've never actually played it. But you're basically sneaking around this complex. The game starts out, you're camping or mountain climbing or something with your girlfriend or your fiance or whoever she is. And she's like bragging like, oh, I explored these caves all the time when I was a kid. And so she like jumps down into the cave and you follow her. But then she disappears and you find her backpack and you're like, where is she? It was funny. It's like when you get the backpack, it's like, oh, all of a sudden now you've got a climbing ability. So you're able to climb rocks better. But then you find this facility that's been built in the caves, and they've actually kidnapped her, and you're sneaking around this facility, and you gain abilities as you're playing the game. You gain a gun, you gain like a flashlight. And you know, the nice thing is like when you get killed, your checkpoints aren't too far behind. It is almost a trial and error game in some respects. The difficulty I'm having is aiming without walking. I'm sure there's a way to stop walking. I must be able to hold a button or something like that so I could aim the gun with the same analog stick I'm walking with and not move. But I'm sure it's there. I'm just not... I must have skipped that part or something where it was telling me that and I kind of skipped over the training. But yeah, you try to take out the security monitors, all these little weird robots running around that when you shoot, they blow up. And what's funny is like you can shoot these robots, they fall on people and then explode them and take them out. You get a nice map. It's a fun game. It really is. I didn't think I was going to be too into this game, but I am. The thing that I thought was really bizarre is the game starts out and you're playing not even your character. You're playing like the super powered warrior, and the game doesn't even tell you anything about what's going on. You're just supposed to figure it out and shoot down this big giant helicopter without any information at all. Once you do that, then the game starts. They should have cut that whole scene out. I didn't, or at least not let me play that scene. I know they wanted to give me some interactivity, you know, in scenes like that, but I didn't like it because I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like I was thrown into a game that I was not prepared for yet, even though you are superpowered. But I died during that opening sequence. I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And then the game starts, and then it slowly gives you everything and gives you a way to like get used to it all and everything. I was like, why is it doing it this way? It was just so bizarre. Anyway, you know, once you get past that first area, the game actually starts. I think it's extremely fun. So, Shadow Complex. Alright, and here is the last game for this video. Dragon Fantasy, the Black Tome of Ice. I just got this yesterday. Special edition, in fact. So there's the front, the back. And look at it, we've got the game disc. We've got a, well, of course, we've got the sticker. We've got the card again. And I think they're back to just limited run because I think they figured they were getting kind of ridiculous putting all the games on the back of one card with checklists. They were going to run out of room eventually. And then I think it's pretty cool that it's sideways, but again, it's just a warning pamphlet, not really an instruction manual. But you know what? I'll count it as a manual. All right, so the last game I have here is Dragon Fantasy, the Black Tome of Ice. And again, when Limited Run Games announces a game, I look up to see if I want to, if the game looks interesting to me. I mean, there have been a couple games where I didn't buy them because I didn't think I'd be interested in them. And one game of that was like Lost at Sea. I didn't think I'd be too interested in that. And the first release, Breach and Clear, and then the PS4 version of that, I didn't get because those don't look interesting to me. later I found out that, oh, it's not exactly what I thought I might have been. In hindsight, I'm like, maybe I should have bought those games, especially Breach and Clear. I could have totally bought Breach and Clear for the Vita. It made like 5 to 6 times the profit of that game on eBay, because that game goes for a lot on eBay. But anyway, I should be talking about Dragon Fantasy, shouldn't I? I knew it was going to be an RPG. I looked up footage and I was like, oh, this looks like an old school RPG. I'm going to buy it. So I get it, and I was playing it. I was literally playing this like for the first time not more than 2 hours ago. And right off the bat, this is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Final Fantasy mixed with Chrono Triggers, mixed with Earthbound. At least Earthbound's humor, because the first thing you're doing is you're playing. Let me get to the from what I understand of the story. Your character Ogden was once a brave, powerful fighter or whatever. He saved the kingdom long ago, and he had long, luxurious hair. Actually, it specifically says he had long, luxurious hair in the game, and he was very brave. He saved the entire kingdom. He became part of the Queen's Royal Guard or something like that. And now it's 30 years later, and he's balding, fat, and he's not the warrior he once was. But then he has a dream, and the first part of the game takes place in this dream. And it turns out that this evil that he once defeated is coming back. But where I was like, where I had to take a double take, is when the first enemy I fought was Mr. and Mrs. Rock. I was like, what? I'm fighting a rock with lipstick. And and it's like, this is where the Earthbound humor comes in. It's very tongue-in-cheek, because it's like Mr. Rock is hiding the lipstick on his lapel. I'm like, what? And it's like, it's like that kind of humor as you're doing the fights in the game. And then there was a witch rock, and then there was a werewolf rock or something like that. A rock that had been half transformed into a werewolf. It gets crazy. It's getting crazier and crazier. But that was in the dream. So I was like, is this just in the dream? But not really necessarily true, because after I got out of the dream, I played a little bit more. And yeah, that tongue-in-cheek humor is still going on in the game. A little, not as severe as Mr. and Mrs. Rock, but cracked me up. There was a crab on the beach. There was a fireball, a spark. No, it wasn't. Yeah, there was a crab after the beach. I had to go back and fight this giant fireball because this kid was complaining he couldn't pick up seashells because this fireball was on the beach. So it was like an animated fireball I had to take out. But yeah, the battle system, that battling reminds me a lot of Chrono Trigger, because you have to run into the enemies on the map, and then you fight them on the same map. They just kind of spread out all over the map, and that's how you fight them. I didn't get to the point to where anybody joined my party or anything, but it's very straightforward. The whole menu system reminds me of the old Final Fantasy games, like Final Fantasy 2 and Final Fantasy 3. Oh, or should I say Final Fantasy 4 and Final Fantasy 6? I don't know the way we're numbering these days. I say 2 and 3 because those were the cartridges I had for the SNES. But the whole blue and the whole menu system reminds me of those games. Yeah, so, and then Earthbound's humor. Again, I really didn't play too much of this. So I don't have too much footage of this. So I should probably stop talking about this game. But again, like all of these limited run games, they're available elsewhere. I mean, this doesn't say only on PlayStation, so it's probably available on Steam as well. Probably for much cheaper than $25 like I paid for in a physical copy. But you know what? I'm a sucker for physical copies, and I'm a bigger sucker for steelbooks. So here you go. So yeah, that covers all the games. That's all I have for now. You just had to get the last word in, huh? Anyway, I don't know when the last pickup video will be. I'm just not buying that many physical games. I'm basically having a whole bunch of games on Steam that I add to my wish list, and I buy them when they go on sale, or at least if they're cheap enough. I know I've had people say, hey, why don't you do a video on your Steam collection, and I just think that would be too boring for me to say, hey, I have this game, and this game, and this game, and this game, because a lot of the games I've bought and I haven't even played yet. They were just really cheap. But I do have a series in mind where I would actually talk about a few Steam games at a time after I've had a chance to play them. So there may be that coming. I am working on still the Pinball FX videos. I want to get through all those tables. And also do the Pinball Arcade tables as they come out. I do want to do more gameplay videos on other pinball related video games. Next video that is not going to be Pinball FX may be the Chicago Pinball Expo, because that is coming up in mid to late October. I don't think I'm going to be taking too much footage of it, but we'll see. I really don't know. So yeah. I don't think I have much more else to talk about. I don't know how long this video is going to be, because I'm doing things a little bit differently. I'm going to be editing it up like crazy. Since I'm not doing as many pickup videos as I once was, I can take the time to make these videos a little bit more edited. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. See you all next time. Bye.